Everyone in the courtroom expected Elijah Carter to bow his head in silence, but when he spoke, his voice shook the very walls of history. That July afternoon in Montgomery, Alabama, the air was heavy, the kind of air that clings to your skin and makes every breath feel as if it carries the weight of history. On the corner of Washington Avenue stood an old brick building, once a slave auction house. The paint had long peeled away, but the walls still whispered. Tourists passed by with cameras. Some glanced, some ignored. To most, it was just another old building. But to Marcus Johnson, it was a wound that never healed. Marcus was 25, tall, lean, with deep brown skin and eyes that held a quiet fire. He grew up just a few miles away, in a neighborhood where opportunity was always one step ahead, yet never within reach. His grandmother, Mama Ruth, had raised him after his father was imprisoned on a wrongful conviction. She often sat him on her lap and told him stories of their ancestors, men and women who had been chained, sold, and silenced. "Baby," she'd say, her voice trembling with both sorrow and pride. "They tried to break us, but we held on to our spirit through every lash of the whip. Don't you ever forget where you come from. These streets still hold our tears." Marcus listened, but as a boy it was hard to understand how something that happened centuries ago still cast a shadow over his life. Until one night, when he was 16, he learned for himself. He was walking home from his part-time job at a diner, still wearing his apron, when suddenly flashing red and blue lights cut across his path. A police car pulled up. Two white officers jumped out, hands already on their guns. "Where you going, boy?" one barked. Marcus froze. "Home. Just got off work." "Don't lie to me." The officer shoved him against the hood of the car. The other rifled through his pockets and threw his few dollars, the night's wages, onto the ground. Cars passed by. People stared, but no one stopped. When they finally let him go, Marcus walked home with trembling hands and a burning chest. That night, Mama Ruth held him in her arms and whispered, "That's the chain, baby. You can't see it, but it's still here." Years later, Marcus made it to college against all odds. He chose history as his field of study, determined to trace the roots of his pain, and maybe, somehow, find healing. One afternoon in the library, he came across a diary. It belonged to an enslaved man named Elijah, who had been sold on the very steps of the building Marcus passed each morning. Elijah had written, "They tell me I am nothing, that I am property, but in my heart I know I am a man. Someday I pray my children's children will walk free, though the chains may cling to their souls." Marcus stared at those words for hours. He realized Elijah's prayer was about him, and yet those chains Elijah wrote about were still alive, invisible but suffocating. That evening, Marcus attended a town hall meeting on racial justice. The room buzzed with tension. On one side sat black families, sharing stories of sons harassed, daughters ignored, dreams deferred. On the other side, a few white townspeople muttered phrases like, "Slavery ended a long time ago," and "Stop playing the victim." Marcus stood, his heart pounding. "My name is Marcus Johnson. I grew up here. I've been followed in stores, pulled over for no reason. I've seen doors close in my face while others walked right through. You say slavery ended, but I feel Elijah's chains every single day. They're in the stares I get, the jobs I don't get, the fear that grips me every time I see flashing lights in my rearview mirror." The room went silent. His voice cracked as he went on. "My grandmother told me our people endured the whip, but now the whip is different. It's poverty, it's profiling, it's schools in our neighborhoods without books, while across town, kids have iPads. It's the belief that I am less before I even open my mouth. A young black mother nodded, tears slipping down her face. An elderly white man in the back shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Marcus's voice softened. I'm not here asking for pity. I'm here to remind you that history breathes. That building downtown still stands because no one ever tore it down. And just like those bricks, racism is still standing too. These chains aren't the ones you can touch. They're the ones you pretend not to see. That night, after the meeting, Marcus walked past the old auction house again. He laid his hand on the rough brick wall, as if he could hear Elijah's voice, feel Mama Ruth's hands, or sense his father's silence behind prison bars. The weight of it all pressed heavy on his shoulders. Then he noticed something. Across the street, on the steps of a church, a group of teenagers, black, white, Latino, sat laughing together, sharing sodas. For a moment, Marcus felt a flicker of hope. He thought, Elijah's prayer wasn't just about survival. It was about a future where laughter between different colors didn't feel like resistance, but like life itself. 2 weeks later, Marcus launched a walking tour of the city. He called it Chains You Don't See. He led groups through the old auction house, the segregated schools, the courthouse where his father had been sentenced. But he also showed them murals painted by young artists, community gardens planted in empty lots, and the new library where children of every background studied side by side. At the end of the tour, as the evening sky faded, Marcus stood and said, Racism is not just the past, it's a shadow that follows us. But shadows only exist where there is light. We are that light. We can't erase what was done, but we can choose what we do now. That night, he called Mama Ruth. Her voice was weary but warm. Baby, she said, your great-great-granddaddy, Elijah, prayed for freedom. I prayed for strength. In that moment, he understood. The chains might never fully disappear. But every act of truth, every raised voice, every bridge built, was a link broken. And maybe one day, when his children's children walked these same streets, they would feel no chains at all.